Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your girl Ty. Today is Friday, June 26th. We made it to the almost end of the month. We definitely made it to the end of the week. And this is yesterday's news. So yesterday I saw a headline that said that Disney was rebranding Splash Mountain to a Princess and the Frog theme. And I thought it was just the latest example of some company pandering, showing their support for Black people by doing something that was pretty inconsequential. What I missed, and I don't even know how because I've been on this ride before, or maybe I didn't miss it, maybe I forgot, maybe I kind of just blocked it out of my head, is that Splash Mountain this whole time has been themed around Song of the South. You guys. Okay, so let me take a step back. Song of the South is, for those of you who don't know, a movie that was released in like 1946, and it's the story of a young white boy, who befriends a man named Uncle Remus, a Black man who works at the white boy's grandmother's plantation. It is set in the Reconstruction era, so shortly after slavery, and as this little boy is trying to run away from home, Uncle Remus is telling him all these great stories about his adventures with animals based on the Brer Rabbit and Brer Bear folklore, folk tales that were kind of branded and sold across America as Black stories because they are based in African and African-American oral tradition, but were definitely turned into a book by a white editor of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in like 1880 something. Okay, so Disney took that, turned it into a movie in 1946. It was a problem for people in 1946, okay? Adam Clayton Powell, who was then in Congress, I believe, boycotted it in 1947. It was so controversial that Disney has never released this movie for home viewing in the United States, ever. It's never been available on DVD, VHS, Betamax, none of that, right? There was one point in the mid-90s where you could buy the Japanese VHS version at a couple of Tower Records stores, but it was never released here in the States. Still, after all of that, and despite all of that, in 1989, when they launched Splash Mountain, they launched it with a Song of the South theme. And it took all of what's been going on the last month for Disney to finally change that theme up. And they didn't even do that of their own volition. That only happened because 2 weeks ago, somebody launched a change.org petition to ask them to change the theme, and it got 25,000 signatures in 2 weeks. So regardless, you will no longer see Song of the South at Splash Mountain when Walt Disney World in Orlando opens on July 11th and Disneyland in LA opens whenever they finally do get to open. You will instead get a Princess and the Frog theme, as I mentioned before, and it will now follow Princess Tiana, Louis, Naveen, and all the rest of the gang as they go down the bayou to Mardi Gras. Speaking of rebrands, Amazon, which is of course based in Washington State, has purchased the naming rights to Key Arena in Seattle, and they're going to change that name to Climate Pledge Arena. You guys. All right. The Recording Academy has announced a 7-week push called the Summer of Advocacy, which will aim to provide pandemic relief for music creators and music professionals, as well as promoting positive social change through legislature. So the initiative starts today, and as of today, members of the Academy can register to participate in a series of calls to action, which will culminate in the 7th Annual District Advocate Day on August 12th. So that's the day when members of the Academy will meet virtually with members of Congress in support of key legislative issues that affect the music industry specifically. The main issues that they're looking to address with the Summer of Advocacy are going to be continued COVID-19 relief for all music creators, tax relief for the music business in general, fair protection for music creators, and a safe return for music performances. So if you are part of the Academy, you make sure you look into that on their website. And if you're not part of the Academy, follow along because they are still lobbying for you if you are a music creator. Congratulations are in order for our favorite vegan good girlfriend, Tabitha Brown, who has officially parlayed her viral sensation status into a show of her own. It's called All Love, and it's slated to be released as part of the 2020 programming for the Ellen Digital Network, which is a partnership between Ellen DeGeneres and Warner Brothers Digital Networks. So Tabitha's show is going to be is going to find her giving out advice on cooking, parenting, social media, and self-care. We don't have an exact date for when that's going to be released, but based on previous patterns, I think Ellen starts to showcase the shows in the fall. So I think it follows kind of a regular TV release schedule. So kudos to her. Did you guys know Ellen had her own digital network? It's been around for 2 years. And Marlon Wayans has also inked a deal with a streaming network. In his case, it is HBO Max. It's an overall deal, meaning it's for multiple projects, and those projects will include a 1-hour stand-up special, a multi-act special, which I'm guessing means some kind of like a showcase for other either comedians or other creatives in some form, and scripted and unscripted projects, which Marlon will write and give HBO Max the first rights to. The first scripted project that he's working on is a half-hour comedy called Book of Marlon, in which he will play a fictionalized version of himself who is trying to find the balance between being a father, being a good person, and being Marlon. So kudos to him on that. Kind of puts a whole new, I'm not even going to bring up the whole thing with Terrence J. And lastly tonight, for you art and hip hop lovers who are not trying to be outside like I'm not trying to be outside, in 2016, artist Arthur Jaffa created a short film called Love is a Message, The Message is Death. And it is 7 minutes long. It's set to the song Ultralight Beam. And it's a combination of new footage that he shot himself, as well as archival footage, everything from like news clippings to footage of Biggie like freestyling in Brooklyn. And all that content is combined to show the power and perils of the African American experience. So that film was originally shown at the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden in New York. And it was part of an exhibit that started in November 2017 called The Message, New Media Works. That exhibit closed in September of last year. And now the Smithsonian has acquired the film for both the collections at the Hirshhorn and the Smithsonian American Art Museum. So apparently this is the first time that they've acquired one piece for 2 different locations. Now, the film will be on display at both of those museums as soon as they work out the logistics of that. But in the meantime, to celebrate the acquisition, the Smithsonian is actually making that film available. It's available now, and you can stream it for free through Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Arthur Jaffa will also be doing 2 roundtable discussions, one on Saturday at 2 p.m. and one on Sunday at 2 p.m. You can watch those on the website sunhaus.us. It's spelled sunhaus.us. And the film itself is currently streaming on the websites of several museums and galleries, including the Dallas Museum of Art, the Studio Museum in Harlem, and the Tate Modern, as well as the 2 museums where it will live once they figure it all out. That's going to do it for me this week, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in all week and rocking with me. Make sure you share, comment, DM me your feedback, and come back on Monday for the weekend's news.